It's hard. I do it. Sauce. We don't have a negative. No, we got canceled. It would have been last Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, right. Even this. Because you knew it would happen.
Get that to mode.
Did you do it today?
Action mode, ready, roll. Fertilizer on Friday and all in on Saturday.
What's your prize? Yeah, come over.
Yeah, that was first on my phone.
Oh, were you? Nobody likes that first guy.
It's the,
First I know that.
yeah, I had to listen to Olson because he had his conversations.
Okay. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to the April 10th, 2023 Planning Commission. Brett, will you call the roll?
Earl Carpenter. Amanda Cope.
Here.
Josh Fletcher.
Present.
Tina King.
Present.
Jeff Martin.
Here.
Jeremy Dermott.
Present.
Grant Moore.
Here.
Jeff Peters.
Here.
Susan Ralston.
Here.
Steve White. Nick Sutton. And our newest member, Austin Boudreau. This is his second meeting. Did you want to introduce yourself or anything? For this?
Present, the liaison for the County Plan Commission, so thanks for having me.
So I assume we have a quorum, and I think tonight we'll have a couple different people stepping out on different issues. So I assume we'll still have a quorum when that happens. Is that correct?
You'll need 6, Mr.
For 6, 4, okay. So when we get to those separate issues, we'll check that, that we should be okay. You've all had the minutes from the March 13th meeting. I will take a motion on the minutes.
Make a motion we approve as presented.
There's a motion to approve as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, the minutes have passed. We will conduct the meeting as follows. If you hadn't had a chance to sign in, by the way, tonight, outside is a roll. So we'd appreciate that if you do that. The way the meeting will work tonight is we will call the cases, petitions one at a time. The planning staff will read a report. The board will ask the staff questions. And after the question portion, we will ask the petitioner if there's anyone to speak for their petition. Hearing that, and then the board have further questions. Completing that, we will open it up to public. The public will have a chance to speak, and then we will close that. We will have a finding of fact, and then we will call for a motion. Before that, we will also see if there's any correspondence that's been received regarding the particular petition. I see that we've had one item from the last meeting that was old business, and I assume that we will pick up there. Am I too soon, Jennifer? You'll be reading that one this evening? Or okay. So I think we can proceed with that.
Okay, Mr. President, I have to recuse myself from the next 3 cases.
3 cases. Okay. So there we're down to 2. Are we still in a quorum situation? We have
Yes.
6, so we are good. Okay. Thank you.
All right, good evening. This is the MSD Steuben County, the locker rooms. Is how we're turning it. The development plan. Matthew Wiedenhofer and MSD Steuben County is the applicant and owner. The address is 1350 East Maumee Street. The property is zone institutional. Tonight is the hearing date, April 10th. Legal notice has appeared in the Heralds on March 31st, and 28 property owners within 300 feet were sent certificate of mailings on March 27th. Title 18 of the UDO, along with 36.7 for 1400 series of Indiana Code applies. This is not located in floodplain, and staff is recommending conditional approval. MSD of Steuben County is requesting to expand their recreational facilities and associated amenities throughout the high school and middle school campus. This includes 2 new locker rooms, a new viewing pavilion, fencing for tennis courts, facilities for track and field events, and a new parking lot. Pedestrians will be provided with upgraded new sidewalks at each of these facilities. Those buildings include the locker room, the high school football facility, which is over 15,000 square feet. This will be both home and visitor teams, locker rooms for the tennis teams, coach's office, showers, training room, a team store, storage, public restrooms, and concessions. The building is just over 17 feet tall, located east of the football fields and centered between the field and the proposed new parking lot. The building will be surrounded with new sidewalks, which expand out to the connecting areas. The second building is a locker room for the baseball and softball facilities. That's 2,500 square feet. This includes the locker room for both teams, storage and public restrooms. The overall building height is still unknown. The building will be located to the south of the parking lot that accommodates the baseball, softball, and soccer fields. The next structure is a 2-story viewing pavilion near the tennis courts. It's 864 square feet, 29 feet in overall height. The maximum that is permitted is 20 feet for accessory structures. At the Board of Zoning Appeals March 27th meeting, they did get an approved development standards variance to exceed that height. If you turn with me, the next page, I'm going to go over the parking lot. It's proposed directly east of the football field and near the new football locker rooms. The parking lot will be positioned at the top of the hue wood tile that runs north and south on this property. On March 6th, the Steuben County Drainage Board, the placement of the parking lot was approved with the condition that the new tile be installed to meet current standards. That new tile will extend 20 feet beyond the edge of the proposed parking lot pavement on the north and the south side at the school's expense, with the understanding that any future repairs are needed. The county will not be financially liable for the damages to the parking lot. The parking lot will consist of 309 standard parking spaces, 23 ADA. That's a total of 332. The parking lot will be adequately lit. However, staff does still need to confirm how tall those parking lot lighting poles are. Staff does encourage that the applicant consider adding landscaping in the parking lot. For an example, the proposed striped islands could be landscaping islands. Additionally, this would provide drainage benefits to create a natural buffer that would slow down traffic. Staff would suggest conditional approval that the condition be the installation of 1 tree per 40 foot of parking lot perimeter plus 16 landscape islands within the parking lot. And this comes from our standard if a new structure was going in, that's what would be required for a new parking facility. Other improvements in addition to what's going on that we already went through, the project also includes updating fencing around the tennis courts, relocating the track and field facilities, upgrading the drives for the new parking lot, new access to the drive tees, into the east and west private drives connecting the middle school and high school, upgrading the intersection with a proposed right out only, and then forcing vehicle traffic exiting towards the high school. Some contextual zoning. To the north is the Meadowview Apartments, which is low density residential, agricultural vacant land. And it is in our ETJ. The south is agricultural land. To the east, again, agricultural land and low density residential. And then to the west is low density residential or some multifamily, as well as our parks. There is at the end of page 4 and onto page 5, those are all our outstanding plan review comments. Most of these are just cleaning up the drawings, making some notes, so nothing that I think we need to go into length here. The comprehensive plan, again, this area is shown as institutional. Objective 2.8 does support organized sporting events. for expansion of that within our community. As a result of public notice, we have not received any inputs at the staff level. In conclusion, staff is supportive of the request in improving the middle school and high school recreational facilities. Therefore, staff is recommending approval of the proposal with the following conditions: that all the plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed, and the parking lot landscaping to include 1 tree per 40 feet of parking lot perimeter, plus 1,680 square feet landscape islands within the parking lot. Is there any questions for staff?
I have a question or comment.
Yeah, whoever wants to go first.
Under staff conclusions, number 1, what is adequately, how is that defined?
Where are you at? I'm so sorry.
You said under staff conclusions, recommendations, all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed.
So looking over, if you skim over the plan review comments that are on page 5 and 6, maybe even some on 4, that all those comments are basically addressed to meeting our ordinance.
Meet standards, okay.
Yep.
And the second one is, how did they come up with 23 ADA parking spots? Is there a calculation for that? That's just information. That's on page 3 under parking.
There is a calculation based on parking spots. This is way more than what's necessary. My guess is that this will be the handicap accessible parking lot for spectators is only my guess.
I just
But yeah, there is a
didn't know if
calculation.
there was, how they came up with 23.
Yeah, we do have
Formula?
so many, but yeah, it
Oh.
is.
Andy, you had a question?
Yes, so I guess question or comment for discussion on the parking lot, perimeter landscaping and island landscaping. I guess my opinion, it just seems a lot, to have this in a parking lot. It's in the middle of a athletic complex that's all grass area for fields as is, and there weren't trees that are being removed for that. And I guess I have a little bit harder time swallowing the 16 landscape islands. Historically, trees and parking lot islands aren't great. Like the lifespan, they end up dying because of shallow root system and it gets hot with asphalt and then they aren't maintained. So if they do die, the owner takes them out and now we have a ugly stone island in the middle. Whereas, if we had something different, maybe it'd be longer lifespan, but just seems a lot to me for this project specific.
Under that comment, obviously the vegetation is per standard, I would assume. I mean, it's not, if we deviated from that, we would have to make some sort of variance or some sort of.
No, with this kind of project, nothing is required. As far as the parking lot goes, no landscaping is required per code. This is a suggestion by staff, and this is based on if they were building a whole new structure, like primary facility, then this sort of landscaping would be required for the parking lot. But for this particular request, nothing is required.
I'm just curious about it. Does anyone else have a question? Seeing none, do we have a,
Tina had a
sorry, we do?
I had a question.
Yes, Tina, sorry.
Are these areas around the light posts that are in the parking lot? Are they designed to go in conjunction with a post?
You mean the landscaping? Nothing has been proposed for the landscaping. And we do, to my knowledge, we don't have any lighting plans still, correct? So we do not know the placement of the lighting.
You would think, though, that if they went with islands, it would probably accommodate lights that would be in that same thing, but.
So people wouldn't run into.
Yeah, I would think if you went that route, but again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I guess my suggestion as a plan commission member is I'm not crazy about this condition, maybe leave it up to Jennifer's department and the Parks Department that are the experts in that.
Well, that would be hard to put into a motion, I would suppose, because this is the ruling body, but if there was some agreements post, I guess that could probably be done. Is there any other questions? No? Is there a petitioner that would like to speak on behalf of this item? You're welcome to do so. Please state your name and your address for the record.
Hi, my name is Ethan Yoder. I'm with Engineering Resources. We are the civil engineers for the project. We're located at 4175 New Vision Drive, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46845. Yeah, so I don't really have too much to add about the project overall. We will comment on the islands and the trees a little bit. The school, especially for snowplow reasons, really don't want islands. I mean, they just end up getting chipped up and it makes it a hassle for snow plowing. And then as far as the trees, because this does seem to be like in the center of the campus, I was curious if, there are some residential to the north, maybe it makes sense to only count the north, end of the parking lot. We can accommodate, I believe I calculated 9 trees if we were just counting the perimeter of the north. We would have to dodge some of the athletic facilities. There's practice fields there and some throw events and tennis. So we need to make sure that it doesn't inhibit, the safety of those events. So it might not screen the parking lot efficiently as, would be desired, but that is something that the school would consider. And then as far as the handicap spaces, yes, it definitely exceeds the requirements. And yeah, it is just to accommodate the large events.
Anyone have any questions? Yeah, question.
What is the structure just to the north of the new shop areas? The 2 rings in the bottom left of the drawing?
The bottom left?
What's the structure just north of that? I'm sorry, the small structure.
This? Just to the left there?
Yeah, right there, yeah.
That's a pad for bleachers.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry. I can't see it on my map. And I see
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
And then as far as the right in, right out, the idea was that they would restrict traffic from this event going through the middle school property. So it's just kind of try to keep everything efficient and smooth and not have people on that kind of access type road.
Where's the new viewing platform going to be?
It's nestled in there with the tennis courts.
Right here.
Yep, there. And that was the kind of,
Between the L.
and that was to overcome some of the difficulties in getting enough viewing with bleachers. It's really tight on the west end there, and this helps provide better viewing overall. That's all the courts.
There's a steep drop off, like behind that.
Yeah, much.
How many people are you anticipating to be in that structure?
I'm not quite sure.
I'll have to move the Tony bench though.
Oh,
Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you. If there are no other questions, I will open the meeting up for public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this petition? You're welcome to do so. Okay, hearing none, I will close the public portion. Jennifer, we still have no outside comment?
Correct. Staff did not receive any input.
Okay, appreciate that. I guess I'd just like to editorialize. I probably would concur with Amanda on that, just because of the lots being the same and what we already have out there, and the fact that it's going to be dark and you're going to run out of there and you could run over one of those anyways. And it's not like a shopping center where you get continual in-out daily traffic. But again, that's my opinion, but we will take the motion as anyone would like to make it upon hearing the findings. So I guess we will push forward with the findings.
All right. So number one, the development is or is not consistent with the City of Angola comprehensive plan. Staff proposes the finding that the improvements of organized sporting events and exemplary educational facilities is noted in the comprehensive plan. Agree or disagree? The development plan does or does not cause a hazard or unsafe conditions for drivers on the existing or proposed streets, points of access, perimeter streets. Staff proposes the finding that there are no proposed improvements to public streets. Improvements to public access drives include additional safety measures. Agree or disagree? The development plan does or does not cause existing or proposed streets to exceed their capacity or cause traffic congestion. Staff proposes the finding that because the intensity of the existing use is not changing, improvements are being made to the site that only affect the actual users.
Agree.
Number four, the development plan does or does not dedicate the necessary right-of-way for future expansion, perimeter roads, as indicated in the thoroughfare plan. So there's no additional right-of-way that's necessary here. Thank you. Number five, the development plan does or does not create a safe environment for pedestrians to safely move about the development and to connect to perimeter pedestrian facilities. Staff proposes the finding that they're including improvements to existing pedestrian facilities and expanding facilities for the adequate pedestrian access and circulation. Agree or disagree? Number six, the development plan does or does not arrange buildings and structures appropriately for the function and aesthetic appeal. The development provides additional parking, pedestrian networks that complement the existing and proposed facilities. Agree or disagree? The development plan is or is not compatible with surrounding uses, buildings, zoning districts, or designed to effectively and appropriately buffer transition uses, buildings, zoning districts to which it is in conflict. So the development is simply an expansion of current uses that already exist on the property. So number 8 through 12 are all just asking compliance with the different sections in the code, which they all are compliant once routing comments are addressed. I think we can just go through 8 through 12 is all agree, and once routing comments are addressed, is that acceptable to everyone?
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. We will entertain a motion if someone would like to do so at this time.
I move that we approve this proposal, provided that all the items that have been identified by staff are adequately addressed. And also that we can eliminate the landscaping part of the islands and the trees.
I would second that motion. All those in favor of the motion as it's been stated, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion has passed. We will go on to our first new business of the night. Probably would be taking that one.
I will be. Okay. Moving on to the second item of the evening for new business. Bus Depot addition, seeking application for development plan. The applicant again is going to be MSD of Steuben County. Matthew Wiedenhofer, superintendent, is applicant. Location of the bus depot is at 1760 South Old US Highway 20 in the ETJ. Sorry, I should get it pulled up on the computer.
Go ahead, I'm catching up. It's slow back here.
Just south of town. It's currently zoned institutional district. The hearing date is today's date. Public notices appeared in the Herald Republican on March 31st. 14 property owners were notified within 300 feet of the property, and that was sent on certificate of mailing March 27th. Applicable code refers to Title 18, the Unified Development Ordinance, and Indiana Code Development Plan 36-7-4, 1400 series. It's not located within the floodplain and seeking conditional approval. MSD of Steuben County is requesting to expand their bus depot facilities by constructing a 2,500 square foot addition to the primary structure. The property is situated on Old US Highway 27, just outside of city limits on 5 acres of land in the ETJ. The property currently encompasses a 5,400 square foot primary structure that contains 3 bus bays, offices, break room, restroom, and storage room. Additionally, the property includes a large impervious pad surrounding the building with supplementary gravel parking spaces. The requested addition will be located on the north end of the primary structure, shown in red. The addition will provide a taller 4th bus bay with additional storage space, restroom, and a new impervious concrete for maneuvering around the structure. The aesthetics of the addition will mimic the existing facade. A portion of the addition will have a different elevation than the rest of the structure, with an increase from 15 foot 1 inch to 26 foot 8 inches. Moving on are a couple site photos. The first is as you enter the complex off of Old US Highway 27, looking to the east. Next would be from the northeast, looking at northwest looking southeast. Then east, northeast view, then up closer to the building with the same. Continuing on to contextual zoning and land use. To the north is the auto body shop, the KC Learning Center, NIPSCO, and other commercial uses. To the south is single family residential, agricultural, and AmeriGas. To the east is the Ridgeview subdivision and a large parcel of farmland. And to the west is single family residential and large estate residential. The project coincides with the Angola Comprehensive Plan to Objective 1.5. And as of today's date, there's been no public input due to the result of public notices that have been sent. In conclusion, the staff is encouraged to see an expansion of the current property and is supportive of the request. An expansion of the MSD Steuben County's bus depot that serves our greater community only ensures proper safety measures are being taken to provide a well-maintained fleet of vehicles for transportation of our upcoming youth. Additionally, the large size of the property may accommodate the addition and embraces Angola's comprehensive plan of providing redevelopment of underutilized lots. Once all plan review comments and conditions of approval are adequately addressed. Staff does recommend the following condition as part of the approval: that a compliant ingress and egress easement for connection of city utilities through the neighboring property to the north.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions regarding the staff report?
What are you talking about, the being compliant?
The way they're drawing is at this state, Amanda might be able to help touch base on this. If you look on the property in this section here is where they plan to run to connect to city utilities up at Ridgeview subdivision. Right now, there's nothing set in stone for an easement for them to make that task.
The Ridgeview's the one with
Shadow Lake.
Shadow Lake.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So as part of that, this went to Board of Works last week because it's outside of city limits. So Board of Works granted approval to connect this property into city sewer, being outside of city limits. what will be required is that their lateral has to run on private property and not within the right of way all the way through there. So they will be required to obtain an easement to connect into our city sewer so that it's not taking up our city right of way should we ever need to expand our utilities.
And so where would it go underneath the road?
Yes, it's gonna have to cross the road and then there's a manhole just as you enter into Shadow Lake Drive that they can connect into.
Any other questions? Hearing none is, we'll open it up to the petitioner, anybody would like to speak, the petitioner on hand for this particular project? Welcome to speak.
Again, Ethan Yoder, Engineering Resources. Just to add a little bit of context, yes. So at least for the maneuvering of the buses and the parking, we're just trying to offset however much, maintain the same amount for them to turn and make their maneuvers. So we're not adding any additional besides, again, however much we're pulling the building up north. We are also providing detention for the additional hard surface that we've got. And then, yes, for the sanitary, the school is working with their attorney to negotiate some sort of easement for the sanitary connection. That is in process as we speak.
Any questions? Yeah, Tina?
With the increase of the building, which is pretty good size, I know they put in a pervious parking area. Is that going to be increased because of the building that they're putting on it to park the school buses? Or is the parking lot staying the same size as it is now?
It'll be increasing slightly, but the dimension from the building to that, so from the north end, we'll maintain the 30 feet that we need for them to maneuver around for the concrete. And then the same amount of stone, it'll just shift north. So you'll be adding a sliver on the west end, essentially, just to kind of bump it north. So we are adding a little bit of parking and concrete work.
So are those buses sitting on concrete or are those on?
Those are sitting on gravel parking.
Gravel.
Yes. There's a lot of topography out there.
Oh, there is.
So it's
Yeah.
a challenge, but
Okay. Just curious.
Any other questions? Jennifer?
Did you already take this to the county surveyor or the drainage board?
yes,
And what was the result?
it was approved.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. We will now open up the meeting to public comment if anybody wishes to speak on this particular application. Okay, hearing or seeing none, we will close that portion. Anyone have any final questions before we read the facts, sign the facts? Okay.
Okay, going into the finding of fact. Number one, the development plan is or is not consistent with the City of Angola comprehensive plan. Staff proposes the finding that it supports redevelopment of underutilized lots. Number two, the development plan does or does not cause a hazard or unsafe condition for drivers on the existing or proposed streets or at points of access to the perimeter streets. Staff proposes the finding that there are no proposed improvements to public streets or access, nor does staff feel improvements are warranted for this petition. Number three, the development plan does or does not cause existing or proposed streets to exceed their capacity or cause traffic congestion. Staff proposes the finding that because the addition is to increase capacity for maintenance of buses and not to increase the capacity of buses on site, that may cause a concern regarding capacity of roadways, et cetera. Number 4, the development plan does or does not dedicate the necessary right-of-way for future expansion of perimeter roads as indicated in the thoroughfare plan. Staff proposes the finding that because adequate right-of-way already exists, no additional right-of-way is necessary. Number 5, the development plan does or does not create a safe environment for pedestrian to safely move about the development and to connect to perimeter pedestrian facilities. Staff proposes the finding that the safe environment does exist with the expansion of internal sidewalk. Number 6, the development plan does or does not arrange building and structures appropriate for function and aesthetic appeal. Staff proposes the finding that because the addition is subordinate to the primary structure, it will match the current finishes and meet all development standards. Number 7, the development plan is or is not compatible with surrounding uses, buildings, and zoning districts or building zoning districts to which it is in conflict. Staff proposes the finding that because this is an addition to a primary structure, the finishes will match current structures and all setbacks are met with ample buffering. And just as before, finding of fact 8 through 12 all are in compliance, and once all respective sections are reviewed and routing comments are adequately addressed.
Is everybody okay with that? Okay, agree. Okay. Thank you. We will entertain a motion for this application.
I move that we accept the proposal as presented.
I'll second that.
We need to state anything regarding the condition. I think we probably should, just to have it in the
Oh, okay.
record. So you might want to restate
Part
that.
of the, yes, including the
Egress.
ingress, egress, easement for the connection of city utilities through neighboring properties to the north.
Okay. There is a motion. Is there a second for that motion?
I second.
Okay, we will take for that. That's a second. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion is passed. The final
City limits.
MSD application for this evening.
Moving on, we once again another application from MSD of Steuben County. Matthew Wiedenhofer, superintendent, was the applicant. This one pertains to Carlin Park Elementary for an accessory structure. Their zoning is institutional as well. The hearing date is today's date. Appeared in the Herald Republican on March 31st. 61 property owners within 300 feet were sent notice with certificate of mailing on March 27th. It pertains to the Title 18 of the Unified Development Ordinance, Indiana Code Development Plan 36-7-4-1400 series. It is not located within a floodplain. Staff's recommendation is approval. Continuing, MSD of Steuben County is requesting to expand their storage facilities on their Carlin Park Elementary School campus by constructing a 750 square foot cold storage accessory structure. The property is situated at the corners of William and Mechanic Street and incorporates 17.47 acres of land. The property includes 2 primary structures, Carlin Park Elementary School, which is identified with the green arrow, and it's accessed from William Street, and the Angola Head Start Center, which is accessed off of Mechanic Street and identified by the blue arrow. The remaining ground encompasses or embraces parking spaces, playgrounds, and an impervious play pad, outdoor basketball courts, and plenty of open greenery space. The proposed accessory structure will be a 2-story structure and located on the property's side yard to the east. Other than power gained from the existing school for interior lighting, the accessory structure will have no water, sanitary, or exterior lighting. The proposed building site is shown in red, with approximately 400 feet south of Mechanic Street. This accessory structure will be nestled within close proximity to the school to provide screening and utilization of existing sidewalks. Additionally, some new concrete pavement will be done to complete this task. The structure will be accessed via an overhead door and man door that face west. Continuing on is an up-close aerial shot of where the structure or the accessory structure will rest next to the school, as well as some elevations. Moving into site photos, shot one picture looking to the west, moving down, facing northwest. Next is from the south looking northeast, proximity towards the Head Start Center. And the next is from the north facing south. Diving into the contextual zoning and land use, as stated, this property is zoned institutional. The surrounding areas to the north is agricultural land, the Indiana Armory, and commercial uses to the northwest. To the south is multifamily residential duplexes, and extended further is nursing home facilities. To the east is single-family residential and multifamily residential duplexes. And to the west is single-family residential and multifamily residential duplexes as well. This development plan coincides with the Angola Comprehensive Plan, the objective 1.5. As of today's meeting, there's been no public input via the notices that were sent in the mail. In conclusion, staff is supportive of the request. With an outdoor storage facility, it approves the distraction from the indoor classroom environment as staff gain access. Additionally, creating more versatile storage-based accessory structure to meet the needs of MSD Steuben County staff. The project will provide new concrete pavement to coincide with existing sidewalks within proximity. The request will further support the rapid growth of our community school corporation.
Thank you, Brett. Any questions for staff regarding this petition?
Anybody know what they're gonna put in there?
I am not sure on that. I think some of it is going to be outside land or the lawns, equipment. Other than that, I'm unsure.
I mean, it said cold storage facility. I'm
Well, that
thinking-
just means non-heated.
Oh,
It just
Yeah.
means- It just
I'm
means,
thinking meats.
no.
Oh, no.
I'm thinking, okay.
Are you hungry?
Not really.
Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. We will open it up this time if there is a petitioner who would wish to make comments regarding the petition. Once again.
Engineering resources. Yes, so they plan on storing a lot of the outdoor play equipment in this historic building. Really.
Okay, any questions regarding that or any other comments the staff or the board would like to make? Okay, thank you. At this time, we will open the meeting up for public comment. If anyone wishes to speak on this issue, you're welcome to do so now. Okay, hearing or seeing none, we will close that portion. We've also not received any correspondence again on this issue, Genevieve, correct?
No.
Either? Okay. Very good. Okay, then we can proceed with findings, I think. Or is there any final questions anybody would have? Okay, I believe we can do that.
Number one, the development plan is or is not consistent with the City of Angola Comprehensive Plan. Staff proposes the finding that supports redevelopment of underutilized lots.
Great.
Number two, the development plan does or does not cause a hazard or unsafe condition for drivers on the existing or proposed streets or at points of access. Staff proposes the finding that because there are no proposed improvements to public streets and improvements to private access drivers or drives include additional safety measures. Number 3, the development plan does or does not cause existing or proposed streets to exceed their capacity or cause traffic congestion.
It's not.
Staff proposes the finding that because the existing use is not changing, improvements are being made to the site that only affect users.
Agreed.
Number 4, the development plan does or does not dedicate the necessary right-of-way for future expansion of perimeter roads as indicated in the thoroughfare plan. Staff proposes the finding that the development fronts William Street and Mechanic Street, which already have adequate right-of-way for this development. No additional right-of-way is necessary.
Agreed.
Number 5, the development plan does or does not create a safe environment for pedestrians to safely move about the development and to connect to perimeter pedestrian facilities. Staff proposes the finding that the development will create a safe environment for pedestrians by connecting to established sidewalks that flow throughout the property.
Agreed.
Number 6, the development plan does or does not arrange building and structures appropriately for function and aesthetic appeal. Staff proposes the finding that the development arranges the proposed facility appropriately for the function of the development and uses existing pathways. Additionally, placement of the storage structure is near a primary structure. Number 7, the development plan is or is not compatible with surrounding uses, buildings, and zoning districts. Staff proposes the finding that it will effectively buffer those uses with which it is in conflict, sorry about that, to ensure neighborlessness. I'm really tripping up now. Aesthetic quality, the development is an expansion of the support-based accessory structure and uses to an already established and accepted use. And then again, finding a fact of granted 8 through 12, all are in compliance once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed.
People fine with that? Okay. Thank you. We will entertain a motion on this item.
I so move that we pass this as proposed.
There is a motion to pass as it's been proposed. Is there a second? Steve, second. All those in favor of the motion as has been stated, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This motion has passed. So, thank you. I would propose a quick 5-minute recess while we find our other member.
Martin, before you recess, would
Yes.
Kim Schaub, 112 South Wayne Street, would the minutes reflect that I represent both MSP and this board and have provided no legal advice or input to either side,
Absolutely.
nor have I participated in this meeting? Thank you.
Thank you.
So you said a 5-minute recess?
Yeah, 5 minutes. So we will restart the meeting, and we are on the third new business of the night. Brett, do you have this one as well? Yes.
Mr.
Okay.
President,
Oh, excuse me.
I do need to recuse
That's-
myself, please.
Okay, you mentioned that earlier. Thank you. Let you go wherever these guys were.
I don't know where they were. I'll just find this spot.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Yep, we're set.
Okay, continuing on, the next on the agenda is going to be the RMC cold storage building. Seeking development plan, applicant Sturry Builders, Leroy Sturry, and the owner of the property is going to be Steuben County RMC. It's located at 1212 South Wayne Street. Its current zoning is institutional district. Hearing date is today's date. Legal notices appeared in the Herald Republican on March 31st. 31 property owners received notification within 300 feet of the property. Certificate of mailing on March 28th. Applicable code provisions is Title 18 Unified Development Ordinance and Indiana Code Development Plan 36-7-4-1400 series. It is not located within a floodplain. And one missing word, staff is recommending conditional approval. Steuben County RMC is requesting to expand their storage facilities by constructing a 4,800 square foot cold storage accessory structure, 60 foot by 80 foot. The property is situated on South Wayne Street and encompasses 22.75 acres of land. The property currently houses a 13,000 square foot primary building. This primary complex incorporates administrative offices, the east side, and storage equipment storage on the west side. This structure serves as a main focal point upon arriving at the address. Additionally, immediately to the west of the primary building sits an accessory structure built in 2014, connected to a large pervious lot. The proposed accessory structure will store additional equipment for their fiber services and allowing for secure parking of their bucket trucks indoors, protecting them from severe weather. The aesthetics of the building will mirror the same facade as the primary structure. The proposed building site, shown in blue, is approximately 500 feet west of South Wayne Street. The accessory structure will be nestled between two current buildings on the property, utilizing established pervious drives and parking lot space. The proposed structure will be situated at the edge of existing gravel and a current grass area. On March 27, 2023, the Angola Board of Zoning Appeals approved an accessory structure height variance to accommodate the 26-foot, 10-inch proposed structure. The accessory structure includes 5 14-foot tall garage doors for the large apparatus to safely pass, all of which face to the south. Furthermore, the addition will match the primary structure and finishes. Continuing, you can see some site photos. The first image is captured from South Wayne Street looking to the west of where the new accessory structure will sit in front of the white barns. The next will be as you enter into the property, a view of the primary structure. And lastly is a view to the north of where the proposed structure will be placed between. Contextual zoning and land use. To the north is mixed multifamily residential as well as duplexes. To the south, commercial offices and auto shops. To the east, single-family residential, the storage unit, and the Angola Hillcrest Baptist Church. And to the west, through their large woods, will be the Fox Lake Farm subdivision, which is all estate residential. The project coincides with the Angola Comprehensive Plan. It speaks to objective 1.5 and 1.7. As of today's hearing date, there's no input and result of the public notices that were sent. In conclusion, staff encourages expansion on the existing properties and is supportive of the request. To store bucket trucks indoors, taller bay doors and taller building walls are needed. The project will utilize existing drives and mimic current structures and finished materials and similar structure height. The request will further support the vital utility to our city and greater community. Staff does have the condition that if any utilities are installed within the accessory structure in the future, that proper permits will be obtained.
Thank you. Is there any questions for the planning staff on this petition?
So no water or, I mean, just, I would assume electric would be in there, but no water or anything like that.
No water or restroom utilities like that. And at this time, nothing for power. That's why we put the condition to where if they do go for the type of utility that they
So they're
will.
gonna be lifting up 14-foot garage doors?
To our knowledge, that's why they're going to start the process.
Okay.
Maintenance of the vehicles or anything. This is just for storage.
Yes, just storage of their bucket truck apparatus and then a lot of their new fiber services that they're providing to the community. A lot of single story storage.
Any other questions? Thank you. Is there a petitioner who wishes to speak on behalf of the petition? You're welcome to do so now.
My name is Leroy Sturry, Sturry Builders, 5030 South US 27 Pleasant Lake. And the reason there's no electric in the building, they are planning to do that themselves at a later time. And at that time, yes, they probably will install garage door openers, but they're keeping it for a time where they need some stuff to keep employees busy and when you're running that stuff in conduit. So that's their plan on that. So. And yes, they will be pushing the garage doors up by hand.
They've come a long way, haven't they?
Yeah.
You would think, being in a utility, that they could run some wires. up
Yeah.
there.
Well, it'll all be ran in conduit on the outside of the,
One.
they'll do it at a later time.
Any questions for the petitioner?
Any floor drains?
Yes, there is a floor drain that goes through the center of that. Yes.
Where will you be discharging that to?
They will be discharging it out the side toward the detention area. And as far as, I don't know if they're planning on discharging it into the detention area or where they're planning on discharging that, so.
Okay, I don't know that it makes a difference. We probably need to talk about that. You can't discharge floor drains to storm.
Okay.
It's gotta be sanitary, but we
Okay.
can
Yep.
figure
We'll
it
address
out.
that. Okay.
Something to consider on the motion. Thank you. Any other questions for the petitioner? Okay, hearing. Thank you. We will now open the meeting up to public comment. If anyone wishes to speak regarding this petition, you're welcome to do so now. Okay. Hearing or seeing none, we will close that portion and we continue to have no public comment. Is that correct? That's correct. Okay. So I believe we can move forward on finding.
Okay, proceeding to finding of fact. Number one, the development plan is or is not consistent with the City of Angola Comprehensive Plan. Staff proposes the finding that it supports redevelopment of underutilized lots and commercial growth inside corporate limits. The development plan does or does not cause a hazard or unsafe condition for drivers on the existing or proposed streets or at points of access to perimeter streets.
So it's not.
Staff proposes the finding that because there are no proposed improvements to public streets and improvements to private access drives, and none to private access drives, including additional safety measures. Number three, the development plan does or does not cause existing or proposed streets to exceed their capacity or cause traffic congestion.
Does not.
Staff proposes the finding that because the existing use is not changing, improvements are being made to the site that only affect the staff. Number four, the development plan does or does not dedicate the necessary right of way for future expansion to perimeter roads. Staff proposes the finding that the development fronts South Wayne Street, which already has adequate right of way for this development. None additional is necessary. Number 5, the development plan does or does not create a safe environment for pedestrians to safely move about the development and to connect to perimeter pedestrian facilities. Staff proposes the finding that the development will create a safe environment for pedestrians by its placement connecting to established drives and parking spaces that flow throughout the property. Number 6, the development plan does or does not arrange buildings and structures appropriately for function and aesthetic appeal. Staff proposes the finding that the development arranges the proposed structures for function and flow of the development and uses existing drives. Additionally, placement is in a highly screened location. Number 7, the development plan is or is not compatible with surrounding uses, buildings, and zoning districts. Staff proposes the finding that they will effectively buffer those uses with which it is in conflict to ensure neighborliness and aesthetic quality. The development is an expansion of the support-based accessory structures and uses to an already established and accepted use. And then number 8, again through 12, is all in agreement. All comply once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed.
And just to restate what you said, Amanda, about the drain, they cannot run into it. They must run into the not into the storm, into the sanitary if they're within the city.
Correct. And that's something that we typically deal with in our plan reviews. So
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I
that
figured
it's
so. I just wanted to,
crucial for this, but
okay, confirm that. Okay, I will entertain a motion if somebody would like to make one.
I move that we accept the proposal as presented with the condition that the staff approves of the water discharge.
There is a motion, it's presented. Is there a second?
And the utilities.
At a later date.
Later date. Yeah, okay, so.
Yeah,
That's okay,
yeah.
okay.
I thought they had to come back for that.
I think they, well, I guess it doesn't.
Yeah,
hurt to say it,
and that's
but-
fine, yeah, throw it in. Yeah, I was thinking that.
Okay.
That's silly.
Jerry was second. There's a motion with the second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion has passed. The final item for the evening.
Yes, sir.
In. Susan.
Oh,
do you
yes.
mind?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Here's the reason I was tardy. They need you.
Okay.
Seconded that motion. I'm sorry. I missed
Jerry,
it.
Jerry.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. The last staff report of the evening. Last is Farmer State Bank Edition. Applicant and owner is Farmer State Bank, Renee Boots. The property is located at 1800 North Wayne Street. The current zoning is C1, small to medium general commercial district. The hearing date is today's date, April 10th. Legal notices appeared in the Herald Republican on March 31st. 9 property owners within 300 feet were sent notification via certificate of mailing on March 30th. Applicable code provisions is Title 18, Unified Development Ordinance, and Indiana Code Development Plan 36-7-4-1400 series. It is not located within the floodplain, and staff recommendation is of approval. And Farmer State Bank is requesting to expand their facility by constructing a 2,300 square foot addition to the primary structure. The primary structure is situated on the front half portion of a 5-acre parcel along North Wayne Street and currently encompasses a 5,600 square foot primary structure plus awning, parking area to the front and back of the structure, and drive-through. The primary structure includes a lobby area, offices, designated teller areas for both walk-in and drive-up services, storage/vaults, and restroom facilities. Customers enter the lobby along the west facade. Adequate sidewalks flow alongside the parking spaces to ensure safe pedestrian traffic to and from the building. To the north, a 4-lane drive-up window is accessible for vehicular traffic. The proposed addition will extend the southern facade of the primary structure, being placed in a grassy area. It's shown in blue in the image. The addition will include a large conference room, 4 new offices with the potential of 2 more, open workspace, storage, and handicap restroom facilities. Furthermore, the exterior finishes of the addition will match current finished materials. The addition in this first phase of bringing the addition is the first phase of bringing improvements to the branch that services Angola. Phase 2 will accompany remodeling to the existing building shown in purple. Next will be 2 simple site photos from each corner of the grassy area that I spoke of. One is captured from the southwest corner, the other one from the southeast corner, looking diagonally across the lot. Moving into contextual zoning and land use. Again, this was noted as a property is zoned as C1. To the north, you'll have Burger King, Aldi, Buffalo Wild Wings, and other commercial uses. To the south is Village Green Apartments and fast food chains. To the east, Village Green Apartments. Furthermore, to the railroad tracks and the YMCA. And to the west, across North Wayne Street, is the Country Fair Shopping Center and gas station. The Angola Comprehensive Plan speaks to a couple of objectives, objective 1.5 and 1.7. And as you'll notate, you can skim through is a plan review from our interdepartment plan review that was sent out. We are waiting for some of the comments to be back. I spoke with JICI today. Chad, he commented that most of them are finalized and will be getting back to us in the next coming days. As of current date and time, there's been no public input for the notices that were sent. And in conclusion, staff is encouraged to see the expansion of an established business and is supportive of the request. The expansion of Farmer State Bank, which serves our greater community, further ensures their investment and provides adequate amount of space for current growth. Additionally, the property may more than accommodate the addition and embraces Angola's comprehensive plan objectives of providing redevelopment to underutilized commercial lots within corporate limits.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions regarding the staff report? Okay. Hearing none, we will ask if there's a petitioner who wishes to speak on behalf of this project.
Hi there, Chad Owen, JICI Construction, 319 Pokagon Trail, Angola, Indiana. Not much to say on this one. Pretty simple little building addition, trying to add some additional office space to facilitate people here at the Angola location for Farmer State Bank. So open up to questions.
When would you start?
You wanted me to start about 3 months ago? So yeah,
Probably Monday.
we're going to get started right away.
And Chad, you're in agreement with the items listed as far as outstanding?
We are.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Anyone else have any questions to the applicant?
Just a comment, it looks like it was pretty well planned out
Yeah.
ahead of time, so.
Yeah, the building layout certainly gives itself to an addition like that. So, yeah, absolutely. We will, if no other questions of the board, we will open the meeting up to public comment. At this time, is there anyone who wishes to speak for or against this project? Welcome to do so at this time. Hearing or seeing none, we will close that portion. Brett, I believe you're ready for findings.
Okay, number one, the development plan is or is not consistent with the City of Angola Comprehensive Plan. Staff proposes the finding that the development plan is consistent with the City of Angola Comprehensive Plan, objectives 1.5 and 1.7. Number two, the development plan does or does not cause a hazard or unsafe condition for drivers on the existing or proposed streets or at point of access. Staff proposes the finding that because that there are no proposed improvements to public streets and improvements to the private access drives include additional safety measures. Number three, the development plan does or does not cause existing or proposed streets to exceed their capacity or cause traffic congestion. Staff proposes the finding that because the intensity of the existing use is not changing, or because the intensity of the use is not, or existing use is not changing, improvements are being made to the site that only affect users. Number four, the development plan does or does not dedicate the necessary right-of-way for future expansion.
It does.
Staff proposes the finding that the development fronts US 127, also known as North Wayne Street, which already has adequate right-of-way for this development. No additional right-of-way is necessary. Number five, the development plan does or does not create a safe environment for pedestrians to safely move about the development and connect to perimeter pedestrian facilities. Staff proposes the finding that the development will create a safe environment for pedestrians by its placement connecting to existing building infrastructure, and the addition is disturbing minimal footprint of the property. Number six, the development plan does or does not arrange buildings and structures adequately for function and aesthetic appeal. Staff proposes the finding that the development arranges the proposed addition appropriately for the function of the development and uses existing pathways. Additionally, the addition is subordinate to the primary structure, will match current finishes and meet all development standards. Number seven, the development plan is or is not compatible with surrounding uses, buildings, zoning districts.
Yes.
Staff proposes the finding that it will effectively buffer those uses with which it is in conflict to ensure neighborliness and aesthetic quality. The development is an addition to the primary structure. The finishes will match current structures and all setbacks with ample buffering. And then once again, findings 8 through 12. As long as you guys are fine, they will all comply once all plan review comments are adequately addressed.
Agreed. Thank you, Brett. There's a lot of reading tonight. Appreciate it. We would entertain a motion for this application.
I'll move that we accept the application as presented.
There is a motion for application as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Susan will second. All those in favor of the motion as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, this motion is passed. And thank you all for your patience regarding this tonight and the process. Appreciate that. Is there any address reports for this evening or no? Is there any outstanding reports from staff or anything else? Okay, hearing none, we will take a motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor? Aye. Thank you all for your participation. Oh. Good job.
Boy.
Nicely done.
Let's take a cough drop. Right up.
Amanda's here.
Why did you reading all that?
You say next time is.
That's a lot of paperwork.
Oh, my gosh, yes.